Hello YouTube, it's that time of the month again. It's the last day of the month and end of month bot haul time. Yes, so let's see what we got for February. Actually, it's been a bit of a short month. I haven't really got a whole lot this month. I've only actually got 8 items to show you this time, so hopefully this video will be a lot shorter than what these videos usually run out for, only like half an hour or so, but we'll have to wait and see. You know how I like to waffle. Now, part of the reason why I've got a short haul this month is because I actually did an order with TF Direct. It's my first order with TF Direct for some third-party figures. Actually, I've gone for that Final Victory triple pack of the Warpath, the Brawl, and the Huffer, because I wanted the Huffer mold out of it. I ordered it at the beginning of the month, but unfortunately, I picked the wrong shipping option. It actually had 2 shipping options on it. One was e-packet, which it said took 9 to 20 days or an average of 12, and then it had the e-express, which I think took 6 to 7 days. Now both of them were free shipping options, and I picked the e-packet, not the e-express. So yeah, I'm still waiting for it. I think it's been sent by ship, in which case it probably won't arrive till the middle of next month. So I'm a bit annoyed it didn't arrive at the beginning of the month. So that would have filled this this haul out a little bit. But as it happens, I didn't get a great deal, mainly because a lot of the items I got this month were kind of expensive, and because I'm running to a budget of like £400 a month, when you're buying bots that are over like 40-50 quid each, you don't get so many for your your budget. So anyway, without further ado, let's get on with this. Right, okay. First item that arrived was an item that I ordered off Kapow. I've done a review of him. Iron Factory Dubhe, or IFEX31 Dubhe, their take on the DJD Tarn, or as they're calling him, the spirits of the D.E.C. I'd like to know what the D.E.C. stands for. I think it's the Decepticon Executions Crew or something like that, but they haven't actually said what the D.E.C. stands for. But anyway, I've done a review of him. He's a really cool little figure, really neat. He's basically spit an image of the Mastermind Creations Cool Tour, only in miniature form. Now, since I did the review, Bisto Yeti did a comment on my video saying that one of the shoulder joints had split and gone loose. Well, guess what? Yeah, what it is, it's this little ring under here. There's a moulding mark right on the bottom of the ring that goes onto the ball joint on the shoulder, and it's prone to split right there. And yeah, that shoulder's gone. It's split. So I'm gonna have to do something to fix that. But apart from that, brilliant little figure, fantastic little figure. I'm looking to get the Iron Factory DJD figures now that I've got this guy. Did a little review on him. He's a fantastic little figure. So he's the first item I got this month, and he arrived on the 4th of Feb. Then moving on to the 9th, which was a Saturday actually, because it was the day that TF Nation tickets went out, and if like me you had a bit of a mare trying to get your TF Nation tickets booked, I mean, yeah, I was there at 12 o'clock ready to pounce on the website as soon as it went live, and it well, they put a disclaimer out a couple of days later, an explanation as to what happened. I mean, they tested the website, but what it was apparently the email server crashed, because obviously when people are processing their tickets, they get notification emails sent out, and it saw that as being spam emails, so it blocked their email account, and it caused chaos. And so I had a bit of a mare. I managed to book my event ticket, but it was getting the booking for the room at the Hilton. I had a bit of a nightmare trying to book that, but I'm all booked up for TF Nation now, so that came through. But later on that day, I said I agreed to take my mum. My mum wanted to take her shopping, so we went up to the local Sainsbury's and was walking around Sainsbury's, and we browsed past the toy aisle, and they had a brand new box of these in. Yeah, bots. I just did a review on this guy the other day. Yeah, so I went rooting through because I had a list of all the blind bag numbers on my phone, and I knew which one I wanted. I wanted, BotBots Series 1, blind bag number 13, Root Wing. He's a part of the Shed Heads. He's a little pot plant that turns into like a little dragon thing. Really like him. Yeah, so it was a brand new box. They were all in there. They're all got that little number they have on the back, which is like it's like indented into the cardboard. But they had all the numbers in there. They're all in numerical order, so I managed to find him quite easily. Did a review on him the other day. Pretty neat little figure, but they're only small things, so I prefer to do them as small stuff reviews as and when I'm going to do them. So yeah, I got him on the 9th. Then the following day, it was Sunday the 10th, and NEC Toy Fair. And obviously I like to go to the NEC Toy Fairs, and I like to do this thing whereby I buy what's called an early bird ticket, because the fair opens at 10:30 normally for normal fair goers. But you can get in up to 2.5 hours early, from 8 o'clock onwards, if you buy an early bird ticket. And it's a little bit more money than the regular entry fee. I mean, it's gone up to £13 now, but it's still worth it because you get in up to 2.5 hours early, and you can walk around while everyone's setting up, and you get the pick of all the best items that are on sale. And you get these stickers if you're an early bird ticket. So I'll put that on there. And last year I collected a full set, so I went to all four toy fairs, and I got early bird tickets for all of them. It's a little sticker sheet I made up. So I made a sticker sheet up for this year, and obviously take this one and just pop it on there. So I've got the first early bird sticker for NEC Toy Fairs 2019. Anyway, so I went there with my usual £100, and a couple of days before, I'd been contacted by Rich Xortrider on WhatsApp, and he was looking to sell a couple of figures, and he was asking me whether I'd be interested in any of the items that he'd got for sale. And one of the items he showed me was his Mech Fan Toys Hercules. It's like an upscaled version of the DX9 War in Pocket Devastator, or Hulky. And I was halfway interested in it. He said he wanted 40 quid for it, and it was all complete and boxed. And he said, well, I said, well, if I've got any money left over at the end of the fair, then I'll buy it off you. But as I was getting closer to the day of the fair, I thought, well, actually no, I'm going to take an extra 40 quid just in case I spend all my money, and then Rich brings that thing along, and I haven't got enough money left to buy it. So anyway, I was all covered to buy this item off Rich. So got to the convention, met my friend Richard, start walking around, and I saw a couple of figures on the stall that I usually go to. The guy on the left hand wall, about halfway along, he does a couple of Transformers things. Apparently he runs a shop in I think Wolverhampton, because Mr. Xortrider knows him, because he goes to his shop. I'm not sure what the name of the shop is, but anyway, I usually buy stuff from this guy, and he had two figures on his stall that I clocked straight away, and I asked him how much they were, and he said they were £50 each. And I thought, okay, I'll come back to you. So I carried on walking round, and then as we was sort of like halfway round, I get a message on my phone from Rich saying, oh, I'm here. And I thought he wasn't coming till later on, but he decided to do an early bird ticket. So we had a bit of a mare trying to find Rich, because he said he was on the first, the second or third aisle. So I went down, I was wandering up and down the second and third aisle, and I couldn't find him. And eventually he said, oh, I'm going for a coffee. Do you want to meet at the cafe at the back? So I went to the cafe at the back, and I said to my mate Richard, we're going for a drink. And after a while, Rich turns up, and sit down, and we have a coffee. And then, well, actually, no, it was just before that I decided, before I go to the cafe, I'm going to go back to that bloke, and I'm going to buy those two figures. So I went over, and I said, I'm interested in these two. And I says, can you do me, as I'm buying the pair of them, and they're £50 each, can you do a little movement on the price? And he said, yeah, I can let you have a little money off. And so he knocked 10 quid off the price. So I got them for £45 each. And the first one I got was this guy. Now this is a G2 Illuminator by the name of Fireball. Now I thought this was Sizzle, but apparently this is the Sizzle is the American version of this mould, and the UK version is a Decepticon called Fireball. Now I'd seen sort of knew about these figures, and they're for a G2 figure. They've got insane articulation, and I wanted to get one. They're a little bit, they've got the front of the car becomes his chest, and it's really really bulky. But he's got universal shoulders. It's got bicep swivels. It's got elbow joints. It's got hips that go forwards and backwards, knees that bend all the way. This thing, a waist joint. The articulation on these things is absolutely insane, and I couldn't believe it. Now I've managed to get the gimmick to work because they're called Illuminators, and they make a thing. So you've got batteries inside. I'd take because the original batteries were in there, but they'd all leaked. So I took them out, got my Dremel out, cleaned all the contacts up, put some new LR44s in, and yeah, you can see that. Actually, let's turn these lights off. There you go. See, sword lights up. So yeah. He's all working. When I got him home, I was trying to do the splits with him, and I bust one of his hip joints because these green plastic hip pieces they're made out of a really hard plastic, and they're not designed to bend and to do a Van Damme splits, because it forces the joint apart. And it's, as Rich Xortrider warned me about these, they're like G.I. Joe figures. They have like a metal barbell in the middle that forms the hips, and then it's like held in place by like a rubber band. The rubber band has stretched a little bit, hence why the legs are a little loose, but it doesn't split or broken or anything. But yeah, he's a neat little figure. I'm quite impressed with him. So he's one of the figures I got, and he came boxed. Actually, he came with he came boxed, but I managed to get him out of the box and have a little play with him. So he's a neat little figure. And the other figure I got was this guy. Yes, Energon Unicron. Now I asked the guy. I says, "Is he complete?" And he says, "Well, he's missing a couple of missiles and he's missing his minicon." And looked at it, and it says, well, he's got his wings. These are the main things that go missing. And I thought, well, okay, yeah, I'll get him. And then it wasn't until I got him home and transformed him that I noticed, yeah, his abs are missing. So he has to have a little transparent, like, fold-down shield, because apparently this is a little compartment you can put minicons in. So yeah, that was missing. So that was a bit disappointing. But I've looked on eBay, and apparently there's a guy on eBay who's got a bunch of these for sale in America. So next month or tomorrow, I'm gonna go on eBay and I'm gonna buy him a replacement shield. And as regards to the minicon, when I went back into the cafe to get my food, well, get my drink with the two Riches, because obviously my mate Richard and you got Rich Xortrider, they're both named Richard, but we sat down and had a drink. And Mr. Xortrider said he had a little minicon. He was pretty sure he'd got the minicon for this guy as a spare at home, and he says he was going to sort it out for me. But a little bit more on that later. So yeah, got me a Unicron, and I wanted to get a Unicron of a different colour rather than the usual sort of G1 Unicron, because I've got the that blue Cybertron figure from the Last Night line, which is an unusual colour. I was tempted to go for the green reissue of this, but I thought this guy was 50 quid and he was relatively complete, so he was definitely worth a punt. So yeah, I got him. And then obviously, yeah, like I said, I bought those, went back to see Richard, and I bought the Mech Fans Toys Hercules off him. It's got some loose joints, most notably this thing flips down. The arms are a bit loosey goosey. Not a bad figure though. Obviously, I've been sort of in the market for a Devastator. I've got a couple of Devastators. I've got the Revenge of the Fallen Legion Class Easy Devastator, and I've got G1 Micromaster Devastator, but I haven't got any bigger than that. I was tempted to get a big third-party one, but I haven't decided which one I want to go for yet. But I remember when the DX9 Hulky came out, and I was looking at it and thinking, that looks pretty neat. And this is just a slightly overscaled version of that. It's got, it comes with a box and all his accessories and all the guns and things, and it's a really neat little figure. Obviously, being a knockoff, it's got a few issues, obviously, as you do. Some bits don't quite peg together properly, and it's got a few loose joints. But apart from that, it's a brilliant little figure, and I bought it off Rich for 40 quid, which when I looked on eBay and AliExpress, you can maybe get this guy slightly cheaper, but the going rate for it is around about sort of 45, 50 quid. So yeah, I did quite well there getting this guy. Some of the individual figures are a bit naff. The Mixmaster, he's a bit rubbish, mainly because now I don't know whether this is because the original DX9 Hulky, because the figures were so small and the wheels are so tiny, they couldn't have had rolling wheels on them. They're just moulded wheels, like on that New Age Critter. It's got moulded wheels on it because the wheels are so small they couldn't make them rolling wheels. Similar thing with this. A couple of the figures haven't got proper rolling wheels, which is a bit disappointing. But you thought with this being like an oversized KO of the DX9 original, they'd have made a few mould improvements to it, but sadly not. Yeah, so got this for 40 quid, so that was all right. Yeah, so that was okay. And sort of carrying on the old NEC Toy Fair thing, as we was going around with Mr. Xortrider, he says, oh, by the way, Rudy, Smizno and Emily are coming to it. And I thought, are they really? And he says, yeah, they're going to be here soon. And we got a message after a little while to say they'd arrived. And then it took a little while. And then eventually we sort of convened outside the Space Bridge stall and had a quick, how do you do with, Rudy and Emily. And then we started walking round. I mean, I was walking with Rich and Rudy, and Emily and Dave, they just sort of shot off into the distance. And it was while we was walking round, we was at one of the other stall, and I saw another item. It isn't Transformer related, but I thought I'd throw it in here. And it's this. Now, this is a Rough Rider. Now, I used to collect. Well, I used to buy these sort of things when I was a kid. They weren't necessarily the Rough Riders. There was another brand called Stompers by Shapers, but they were sold in the UK under the Corgi brand, and they were called Trekkers. They were very similar to these, but they had sort of like foam tyres on. And the foam tyres used to stretch, and if they got wet, they used to rot, and the tyres used to break and fall off. But the Rough Riders have nice chunky rubber tyres, and they go, they last really well. I've got a couple more of these Rough Riders. I've got some of the ones with a little gear stick on the top that gives you like a 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, and neutral. But this one's just a simple one. And when I first got this, I got it home. I tried to get it working, but the motor seemed to be dead. So I was a bit disappointed that it wouldn't work. But yesterday I had another go at it, and I've managed to get it working. It has got working lights, but it's only got the single speed, and it really needs a fully charged battery on it to make it go at any speed or over any sort of terrain that it climbs over. But yeah, Rough Riders, I quite like these things. So when I see them, I like to pick them up, provided they're not too expensive. So yeah, that was a little Brucey bonus I picked up at the NEC. So that was everything at the NEC, which was on the 10th. And then moving on, just a couple of eBay items. So the next item arrived on the 12th. Done a review of him. Jutego, Jurassic Cops. Now, I've been customising this guy, and you can probably see he's got a black head. When I did the review of this guy, one of the complaints I had was that his head was painted grey, and they'd painted all the red stripes on it wrong. Well, earlier this week, I took the head apart and I painted him up with some satin black enamel paint, and he's got a slightly more CGI accurate head now, and I also put some black on his front forelimbs as well. So now he's a little bit more screen accurate. So yeah, I've customised it. And sometimes I do this with my KTRTs. If I think they fall short in certain areas, I might do a little customising on him. This is the third KTRT I've customised to date. So yeah, he's much it's gone up in my estimation now that I've done that to him. So yeah, it's a decent enough figure, but some of the engineering on it is a bit rubbish. Like the engineering on the robot mode legs is crap because his knees don't work, and it's from a company. Was it Chu Young? I don't know who they are. They obviously did the figures for this, the Jurassic Cops toy line. They're not very good. Some of them look okay, but when you get down to the engineering, they're typical KTRT. It's got joints that don't work properly, and stuff like that. But I went for this guy because he transforms into a bus, and I quite like transforming Stegos. And this was part of the thing I did with my KTRTs this month. I wanted to go with the theme of robotic Stegosaurs when I ordered my KTRTs, and this was the first guy, and he came in on the 12th. And then on the 16th, this guy arrived. Yeah. Mecha Captain Dino Stegotank. Now, this thing is much better built than this guy in terms of build quality. This guy is far better built. Much better materials, much chunkier, thicker plastic, much better build quality. However, engineering on this guy, yeah, and these figures came out, was it 2 years ago? Hang on, the focus is going funny. About 2 years ago, and I didn't buy them back then. I bought some of the earlier Mecha Beast Guardian figures, and I was a bit sort of with those. I mean, Raptor was okay, but Cayman was absolute garbage. But I also got Brachio Cannon later on, and he's from the Captain Dino line, and he's pretty good. But the Captain Dino figures, they're parts forming basically. This guy, the arms form the back of the Stegosaur mode, and they just come off, and you fold them up and stick them on the back of the Stegosaur mode. That's not how a Transformer works, And because of the way he's engineered, he's got these stupid sort of arms. He hasn't got proper elbow joints really, so his arms are a bit limited. And then you go on to the hips. The hips are fixed, but you can sort of unpeg them, and then they do work, which is bizarre. And I've been looking at these little clips that clip the legs into place. You could probably shear them off because they're only there to lock the thighs into place for robot mode. You could cut them off, and you could give him free flowing hips. So yeah, a little bit of customization on this guy, and you can give him decently working legs. So yeah, I'm very disappointed in this thing, and I didn't buy it back in the day because I'd seen the Korean reviews on it, and I kind of knew what I was letting myself in for. But the only reason I bought this guy this month was because of this theme of robotic Stegosaurs that I was doing. So I decided to go for him. He looks nice. He's really solid, well built, but the engineering lets him down because of the way they've engineered him to do the triple changer, from the shape to the dino to the robot. He's got the parts forming. He's got joints that don't work properly. So yeah, not very good. I kind of knew this guy was going to be a stinker, but there you go. I reviewed him, and he's just he's a rotter. He really is. So that's. Is that, and then on the same day, the 16th, I went uptown. Obviously, what day was it again? It was actually a Saturday. Well, no, tell a lie. Actually, the day before, on Friday the 15th, I went uptown I just went uptown. I just do that thing where I just go uptown and just have a browse round on the Friday afternoon. And I went into Entertainer and I saw this. They'd got Studio Series Thundercracker in stock for, like £17.9. And I thought, ooh, blimey, look at this. That looks very, very tempting. But I didn't buy him at the time because I wasn't unsure as to buying. And the part of the reason is because I'm in a bit of a sticky situation with my Transformer collection numbering system. I'm literally 3 or 4 bots away from bot 1000. So next couple of bots that comes in, I'm at bot 1000. And my next centenary bot, but obviously being a 1000 or you could say a millennium bot, it's extra important. Now I had that TF Direct parcel that I was expecting to come in, and I had that come in. That would have brought me up to 999. So I thought the following day, you know what, I'm going to go back and I'm going to buy Thundercracker, and so that when that TF Direct parcel comes in, the FV3, the Huffer mold becomes my bot 1000. So I went back and I bought Studio Series Thundercracker for under 20 quid. Now I've already got this mould, bought it at TF Nation a couple of years ago as Nitro Zeus. It's a great mould, don't get me wrong, I love the transformation on this. But this particular version, quality control issues. It's got one of these is ridiculously loose. It's got some stress marks in a few places. When you try to transform them into plane mode, I have hell of a job trying to get the legs to peg in under the wings. And I've never really had any trouble with my Nitro Zeus figures. Just this one, I don't know what it is. It's just there's just some minor QC issues on it which just take the edge off it. But I bought it because, well, 2 reasons mainly. One, Thundercracker. It's Thundercracker. I like Thundercracker, even though this is a totally different sort of rendition of Thundercracker. Ever since his exploits in the IDW comics, I've been a fan of Thundercracker, and now he's my seeker of choice. And it's a decent repaint, looks nice. And the price, it was £17.9. So yeah, I bought him for those reasons, even though I didn't need to buy him because I've already got a version of the mould. I don't like buying repaints necessarily. I don't tend to do that as a rule, but I thought I'd get this guy. He was nice and cheap. It's got a few QC issues, but apart from that, it's a decent bot. And so I got me Studio Series Thundercracker, and that, as we say, is it. That's all I got this month. I mean, I'm still waiting for those bloody Final Victory figures to come in, and I'm hoping they will arrive in the next week or so, but we'll have to wait and see. So yeah, and that's all I've got. Bit of a short month, as you saw. Didn't really get a lot, but some of the stuff I did get was expensive. I mean, obviously, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a bunch of figures that were like 40 quid or more, and it all adds up to your grand total. So first and worst, I do that thing. The first is, I had a bit of a job trying to figure out who the best figure I got this month is, but the worst one is pretty obvious. First and worst, so really, I mean, yes, okay, he's got that little problem with his shoulder joint splitting, but apart from that, he's still a decent little figure. And it's Tarn, man, it's Tarn. It's DJT Tarn in legend form, So so he's really good. And then this thing. I mean, even though you could argue that this figure isn't quite as well made, and the engineering on the legs is absolute garbage, but this thing could have been so much more, and just the way they engineered it, it's just basically ruined what it could have been a great figure. and that's just typical of the Geomecha stuff as a whole. So that has been my haul for this month. Not a great deal. Only 8 items. Yeah, it wasn't great. So yeah, we're just over 30 minutes. So that's good. You know, it's a nice, reasonably short video for me. So yeah, I will catch you all next time. We'll see what next month brings. But I've been TFR Wilderness. I'll see you again. Ta-da.